All right, we're good to go.
All right.
Yeah, what's up? I haven't got a chance to talk to you since our last podcast, but I don't know if you saw. I got some. I was gonna reach out to you because you coach for the kids club, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
You do a little coaching, so the season's about to start here.
Yeah. I think they did rookie week this week, so they probably started here next couple weeks or so.
Yeah. How did you know anything? How turnout was?
No, I don't. I haven't. I talked to Nick Fink the other night. He was running up there, but I haven't talked to anyone out there
Okay,
there. So
so he's helping out.
he's got his son is in it, Lyric. He's wrestled I think the last 2 years. So Nick brings him up and kind of
Got it.
helps and watches. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Great.
I don't know where they're at number wise. I'm not sure. My right now, Grayson is not wrestling,
Oh,
so we're still in the debate mode.
debating. Well, take the debate off.
Yeah,
You have to go.
it's yeah. I'm at the point where it's almost to force him, but then it's not worth it if I'm forcing him to go.
Yeah, I hope that,
So
they have different types of practice levels, I got obviously, competition I think is always optional. I think,
yeah,
when you're a kid, you don't really know how to deal with all the things that go with the nerves and stuff, and some people, um, make it a little bit too much about the competition early, and then kids get, just it's not a good experience if you get your
no,
butt kicked every Sunday and everybody
yeah.
watches you do it.
I
So,
mean, and if you're a new kid to it, when you're unsure, those tournaments are kind of you know it's a
they're
lot to
stressful.
take in. There's a lot
Yeah.
of kids, there's a lot of things going on, and then you go out there and no matter what level you are, there's always a little badass out there.
Yeah.
And if you draw them, I mean, we went to a beginners tournament last year, and one of the kids that went with us, and he had a kid from the Twisters and a kid from Corey Clark in his bracket. I mean, they're beginners, and they were far from beginners.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know, and I'm
They were
talking.
going they were going to a beginners tournament to get some confidence, I think.
Yeah, and I'm talking to the one dad, and he's taking the kid from the Twisters. He's going all over the nation. I'm like, well, why are you doing? What are you in Stillman Valley on a Saturday morning? Was this? I mean, he's just gonna mess these kids up, and he did. And our kid, he comes off, he's just ejected. I mean, it was 15
I
seconds.
never Yeah, I
You
never
know,
thought about that happening, but I imagine that does happen, like, somebody takes their kid to a rookie tournament just to get, like just so they
yeah,
can win. Yeah.
yeah,
Defeats
because they're
Kinda defeats the purpose, but
yeah. I mean, and their kid, as good as they are, goes to those big tournaments, and they get beat. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's being in that the kids, you always know in every sport at the kids level. So there's always some craziness going on, but it's a lot, wrestling if you're not, because it's so one on one.
Yeah. Well, either way, back to what we kinda
Yeah,
started with, the idea that, I think up until, like, at least 12 years old, you could make a kid go to practice, just for the practice
yeah,
and, just for the fact that it's a safe space for kids to, like, get their energy out, and even if they're not learning anything, again, some people don't like the babysitting aspect of wrestling, but, I think that's why you have to have different level of practices. You have to have the ability to be like, okay, we're not actually trying to accomplish anything other than getting these kids to be more comfortable in a wrestling room so that they feel more inclined to sit down and listen or come to practice in general. And then there's another section of kids where, oh, these kids are here, they're wrestlers. Now let's teach them, the
right,
positions that they need to teach. If you teach a kid who's uninterested, if you try to teach a kid who's uninterested how to shoot a single, how to shoot a high
yeah,
crotch, how to, they're going to be more distracted and more out of it in general. But if you just run them, do some cardio, do some gymnastics, do some, whatever inside a wrestling room, let
yeah,
them just fight each other, or, wrestle each other,
yep,
um, eventually they might actually be like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. And then as they get older, they'll just be able to learn quicker just because obviously, um, once you start to understand your body, you can learn the technique and you can
Right.
learn stuff like that. So,
Yeah. The bandits do a good job of breaking up the practices along that kind of lines. They have their advanced nights where, the kids who are there to actually learn to wrestle and want to get better are there. And then they got the beginner and intermediate where it's kind of that. Let's go in, maybe show a move, but let's just get these kids tired.
yeah.
Let them roll around, learn how to roll around a little bit. And when they're ready, hey, bring them over to, a more advanced practice where maybe now they're ready to sit and they can watch the coach teach something and they're not
Yeah.
over in the corner screwing around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of, I haven't talked to you either. I recently got some mats, and I'm pretty excited
Yeah.
about this. For the longest time, I've just been doing some one-on-one small group stuff. I haven't really been able to get larger groups of kids in, but I got some mats, and now I'm putting together a pretty good wrestling facility,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to doing more camp style. So I want to do like camps throughout the season where instead of thinking just constant practices or something like that, having people come in and do a specific area, right? Like how to get better on your feet or how to get better off the bottom or how to, get a couple turns on top. And um and yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's been a process, McNames. I think you know.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
you've been talking about it for a while. So,
Well, I mean, do you know how hard it is to get mat? I mean, mats, I was trying to go back and forth with some people who had some used mats. It's like
yeah.
5 grand or more to get mats, and on top of that, you're paying rent, so it's like, how can I ever get out of a deficit if I go, you know, get all this stuff? So, I finally gotten to the point where I think I have all the equipment needed to open or to have a bigger practice and stuff like that. So
Good
super
deal.
grateful about that. So hopefully I can get some
You got,
younger
you
guys
got
in.
that whole space then at that gym you're using or?
Yeah. So well, I mean it's hard to explain. I will eventually have the entire space, but currently it's kind of like I have the space for certain days, and then I have to put it back the way that I found it so that they can use it on the other days.
Got
So luckily we're kind of in the process of taking over the space. Myself and another individual are going to be taking over the space collectively because uh, right now they do youth not youth they do like women's group fitness during the
Okay.
mornings, and so it's a great way to offset the overhead costs. And again, people there's people who want to do fitness and stuff. And I have plans of putting a golf net up there and having some people in and hit shots on a TrackMan or something like that. I have a TV in there, and we can connect the TV, and it'll be fun. I know a group of guys
Oh,
that want to do that. So
yeah. Put me
yeah,
on that list.
yeah. We got to get our game down. So,
Yeah.
uh, um, but to jump ahead, the season's about to start. I'm excited. I hopefully all the efforts that we've done in the last couple of years continue to improve, and we get more and more rookies out for the sport.
Right.
Again, the more I think about it, the more I think about how the ecosystem of wrestling needs more kids. Right. The challenge is we always are competing against each other. So we have like little factions within a very small area of people that don't really want to work together on certain things. But I think if we just get the pie bigger, um, that's the best thing for the sport in the area. So hopefully everybody's efforts, kids club wise, are going well for the upcoming season.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, you hope just in the Nick 10, every school could throw out 20 to 30 kids.
Yeah.
Just in general. I mean, competition makes everyone better. So,
Yep, and having a roster that at least has, 2, like, well-experienced wrestlers per weight class, that would be an amazing accomplishment if
oh, yeah.
if you could get to there. Again, just talking to the suburban teams last year and how, places like Fox Lake are having, 100 plus kids on their team in high school. And it's like, man, that's so hard because, the only team that's ever, I think, accomplished that in the history of the conference, Nick 10 conference, is Hananiga.
Right.
And to be able to get to those numbers would be, um, I mean, again, that's been my goal from the start of all this stuff is how do you get 100 teenage boys to come out for wrestling? And because I think the culture is primed for that, right? We love martial arts, we love combat sports. You know, there's all this awareness around wrestling not being, you know, what people would say it was, and I just think there's so many it seems like it's set up perfectly, but for whatever reason, if you don't have a system, if you don't have a program, if you don't have good coaches and leaders to encourage people to be a part of it, it still isn't easy to get people out. So,
Right.
um, hopefully
And
we have some stability.
I think you run into that problem. You get that many kids, you do have to have a good system. You got to have an outlet for those kids to wrestle other than just in the practice room.
Yeah.
You got to give, no one likes just to go 5 days a week into a room and grind it out and never get to, compete.
Yeah, well, I technically do not mind that still. I like practice. I don't know about
Well,
you, but I just have learned to love
but if
the wrestling.
at the
I
end,
know what you're meaning. I know
you
what you mean.
know,
Yeah, you like
I
to have
mean,
something
that's why
to,
those first
compete.
couple of weeks of the season are so tough because it's just that grind every day
Yeah.
for kids. I liked it as a coach because you could do a lot of things and but as a kid, you go 10 days, 12 days in a room and you're just grinding and now you're cutting weight too and everything. And
Well, I wrote a recent blog, about the paradox of competition and how there's this paradox of competition, how competition has to matter in order for you to like get the most out of yourself, right? So
right,
the competition, and I can speak for my own experience, like wanting to win a high school state title brought the best out of me each and every day because it was something that was constantly pushing me to try to be better than I was yesterday. And at the same time, you and I both know this, like I struggled right after my senior year with my mindset because I lost the state title. So I could never win a state title.
right,
And at that time, I didn't recognize the reality behind that the competition also at the same time doesn't matter. It's just an opportunity to bring the best out of yourself. And so this paradox of competition needing to matter. If you go into the sport and you don't care about competition, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to actually like be disciplined, do things outside of practice that are going to help you work on your mindset, work on your nutrition, work on your physical body, work on your anaerobic, your aerobic capacities, right? Work on the
right,
technique, right? Why would you be possessed or obsessed to go about doing those things if competition or that object that you had to chase wasn't there? And that's an incredibly important thing to get kids motivated off of, to go compete and say, okay, well, you lost. What winning should matter. Let's go win. Let's go try to
right,
compete. Let's go try to put ourselves in the best position. But at the same time, how do you navigate like also, hey, listen, if you lose, okay, that's just information. Your identity cannot be attached to winning or losing. People cannot care about you or care less about you if you win or lose, right? And so I think that that's a incredibly difficult thing to navigate, but understanding that it's a paradox, meaning both things can be true, is a great start, like to comprehend because oftentimes we go, oh, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about competition, you lost, don't worry about it. Are you feel good? Like, but then it's like, well, that's not the case either because no, you lost. Here's the information. Here's what I can tell you you were and were not doing the last couple weeks preparing for this.
right,
And so it's like you get to choose to make the adjustments and not or not. But at the same time, your value to your family, your value to your community is not based on whether or not you win or lose. Um, it's just, yeah. So
right.
it's a complicated thing. And have you ever tried to figure out how to communicate that to people?
You know, I used to always tell the wrestlers, your goal is to be the best at no matter what you do in life, right? And that's what wrestling should kind of bring out in you. And it's kind of like that thing. Your goal, you want to be the state champ, right? And it's different for every kid. But I would say, it goes beyond wrestling. Like, I don't care if you're going to be a roofer, be the best roofer you can be. That should be your goal every day, to be the best at your job, right? Because that's just a positive mindset to live with. Because if you don't have that mindset where I want to be the best, then you're just going through life, and then you're going to be stuck somewhere that you don't want to be. If you don't have that goal, like in wrestling, where, hey, I want to be the best I can possibly be. Well, you're coming to practice every day. You're just going through the paces. You're going out there. You're not competing, right? Competition, like you said, should bring out. If you don't have a desire to compete, then you're going to be stuck with, this is me personally thinking, you're going to be stuck in a position the rest of your life where you're not going to be happy, right? You've allowed yourself to be put into a position, right? And that's where it should bother you. Going out there and, hey, I'm going to wrestle this kid. If I lose this match, okay, yeah, it should bother you, but it doesn't change who you were. If you did everything right, you did everything you could to prepare. Hey, okay, now let's go back, reevaluate, get better. You
Yeah.
know, but it's tough, I think, and this, at the high school level to understand that,
Yeah.
because there's so much, I guess, pressure put on that idea of being successful means you're winning,
Yeah.
where it's not true.
Well, especially with social media and all these other
Yeah.
things, right? You're judging yourself and comparing yourself. Again, this is maybe one of the things that I get most frustrated about is like, okay, as adults, we need to understand that their values are not attached to outcomes. Um, like having the knowledge of that and understanding that a kid isn't necessarily going to know that, but you're supposed to just be consistent and comprehend that and not get lost in the shuffle of the competition,
Right.
right? And it's challenging because the game of wrestling specifically is so emotional that it's very hard to not be like, oh, let's go fight that person, right? Like you
Yeah.
just want to you get emotional about it. So I think it's just important for it's just like nutrition, right? I could tell I could tell a younger kid how to eat well, how to do this and how to do that. The likelihood of them doing it is very hard because they're not disciplined. They don't have the knowledge of how it's affecting them. Their family might not participate like that. So there's all these other things that you can anticipate that they're not going to do it. But as you stay consistent and recognizing like, okay, well, this is still the information that is, I would say true, whatever, in a way. As they get older, it's easier for them to make the adjustments. So it's not that a kid won't ever fully understand that their identity is not attached to it, or if, like that they're not going to attach their identity to it. But the adults around just need to be, that voice of reason when, the room gets too dark and they're messed up in the head, and you got to just bring out like you know the perspective of life going on, moving on after sport. And sport is just a game, and you're playing the game to the best of your ability. And you were mentioning if you don't wake up wanting to compete at something, personally, that's where I think you need to find something else, right? Oftentimes, we try to force people to be motivated at certain things, but I think everybody's uniquely different as far as like what lights them up.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and that's why I go back to that original conversation about I I think you could make a kid go to wrestling practice just like you make them go to school, right? And it's like after they get to a certain age, you're like, okay, if you don't want to compete or wrestle and whatever, what else do you want to do? Do you want to compete at
Right.
something? Like find something that you're passionate about and try to make yourself better, right? Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. The essence of life is growth. So if you're not growing, you're dying, and you need to keep growing. And so I think that that's a important distinction of like, well, if this doesn't light you up, what does light you up? And go do that, because that
Right.
should light you up. But again, going back to like practice is just, I mean, again, you send your kids to school because you're you think that that's making their life better. It's like, well, getting a good exercise in, at 6, 7 o'clock at night, before bed is probably a good thing, right? It's better than
Oh,
not
yeah.
doing it and
Oh,
sitting on the iPad and
yeah. I
looking
mean,
at.
like with my son personally, that's where I'm at. I just want you to go work out, go to,
Yeah,
because he needs that release
yeah,
and a
I would
little bit
agree.
of structure, and and
Yeah,
it can build the confidence too. Go in there, maybe maybe you win a match tonight. If you're rolling
yeah.
around, whatever. So
And you never know when that one takedown turns into, oh man, I might be good at this,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
and I don't. Me personally, I don't. We're not at the level other kids are, and if he never wants to wrestle on a Saturday, Sunday, I don't. Doesn't bother me. You don't
yeah,
have to want to compete right now.
yeah.
And
Well,
but
hope that transition works, and I hope everything starts
mm,
off good this season for
yeah,
everybody. But heading into this weekend, I want to jump on, get a quick chat. We have some people from the area that are down at in North Carolina at the Super 32. Um, you know, off the top of my head, just because he's a guy that I know very well. Jimmy Masney's down there,
yep, yep.
190. We were texting back and forth. He committed to Iowa State, so
That's all
I've
for
I've
him.
I've officially jumped ship on every other school. I'm out
You're
on Okie
done.
State. I'm out on Okie State. They're done. They're old news. Iowa State. I was bullish on them last week about the idea
You
that
were.
they might
Did you
be.
have like an inside
I might have had
track
a
on
little
this?
I might have had a little inside track, but at the end of the day, they are a program that is trying to, put themselves in that top 5
Yeah,
position, and, the recruiting class that they have is looking pretty good. Their lineup this year is looking pretty good.
they're gonna have some challenges in that lineup. They got some.
Yeah.
They're deep at a couple of really good weights that they'll be interested to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, and I think, again, I love their staff. I think I'm huge on staff. I think if you have a good
Mhm.
staff, it's easier to go to work every day, and college wrestling is work. So if you have a good staff, you got guys that you believe in. So
Right.
so that was big pickup. Jimmy's, I mean, arguably one of the most recruited kids to ever come out of this area, I would say.
Oh,
Um,
probably, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he's been at the game for a while, super talented. He's been coached by a lot of people, right? And I think this is something that I wish people would kind of, take notice of, right? Like, one thing I appreciate about him and his family is, like, they were very open to, like, go find different people to influence his wrestling journey, and, I think that can be really beneficial. I think about it all the time. I've had a lot of people, um have inputs on my wrestling experience, but, he's definitely got a lot. He's got a lot of coaches, a lot of people who have wrestled with him and trained with him,
yeah,
but he's the number 2 seed at 190 this weekend, and, super excited to watch him wrestle. The previous week, a couple weeks ago, he was at Elite 8, wrestled really well.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So,
so yeah, that should be good. Another kid from the area, down south, Dean Wainwright, from Riverdale.
yeah.
He's state champion last year, and, he's down there. He's wrestling at 138 pounds.
I thought he had graduated already.
No, no.
If
We
he's been
we were
around.
talking. Yeah, we were wondering if he was golfing because he's a golfer, I guess, last year, and,
Okay.
he might not have golfed this year. I have to.
Well, golf is over.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Don't you
over.
think, speaking of golf, let's sidetrack into golf. I've been trying to figure out how to cover some golf because, I have a daughter and I'm probably going to get into girls golf. Like that's probably going to be my interest coming up with the sport. But like it's such a short season. It's like what the heck are I mean, can you imagine wrestling being that quick? It's like you start and then you're gone. It's like
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah. You start 8 weeks later, you're done.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't
Well,
like it.
the problem, being in the Midwest with golf is, the weather kind of, this time of year, you're fighting the elements more. So I don't know if that's why they have a shorter season, or I don't know
Okay.
why they don't switch it and go, you know, in the spring.
Yeah, or well, girls is spring, right? I think girls
No,
was spring.
both boys and girls are fall. It's the
Really?
same time. Yeah.
Did they just switch that?
No, it's always been that way.
Okay. Maybe they
Yep.
just switch up and they start practicing in the spring or something. I know people are out on the golf course in the springtime. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're both a fall sport, so they
Yeah,
both
I would
return.
agree with you. I think the springtime would be way better. Um, way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Well, either way, golf is
I mean,
over.
I'm a fair weather golfer, and I'm looking outside today, and I wouldn't play in this today unless
Yeah,
unless it was an outing. But
I
so
see. I might play it.
I'm playing next Sunday up at Alpine Valley. So
Where's
hopefully
that at?
Alpine Valley, Elkhorn, Wisconsin. You know where
Okay.
the music theater is, or the
Yeah,
golf
yeah.
on there.
Okay.
So
Well, good luck.
yeah,
Um,
I need it.
yeah. So back to, Dean Wainwright got us
Yeah,
into
yeah.
golf. I hope he was golfing this year. I know a lot of high school wrestlers golf this season, and I'm happy about that. Um, Next up, we got let's see, let's move down. Let's see. We got a kid from Crystal Lake, Nick Marchese. He was at Woodstock Marion last year.
Okay.
Um, Radek Dvorak Huntley. He was
Okay. He was a
he
place winner, wasn't he?
yeah, he's a place winner, and he got fourth at state, and I think he won or got second at Dvorak last year. So he's tough.
Yeah, and I think he's a younger, maybe was he a freshman or sophomore last year, maybe?
He's in 11th grade, so he's a junior this year.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. And then Rocco Cassiope, he's out
Yeah.
there. He is, let's
Tough
see,
weight class.
150 pounds now.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked about that. I've been getting them confused because I keep seeing these seeds and I'm like, wait, Bruno, Rocco, which one it is it? And it's Rocco. So Rocco is up to 150. And yeah, he's doing well. Obviously, outside of the Bo Bassett match, I think he's had some really good finishes.
Yeah. He was at the Elite Eight duels. I mean, he lost to Bassett twice out there, but I think he did pretty well otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. And this weekend will be a great weekend for him I mean, he's state champ last year, so this is a
Yeah.
tournament that everybody, if you're a junior in high school, you want to do well in this tournament because it sets up your recruiting for the
Opens a lot of doors. Yeah.
next year. Yeah, yeah. And it looks like a ton of Illinois kids are wrestling this week. So, but it doesn't say Bruno's wrestling. I don't know if Bruno is or is not, but it looks like he's not, and he might be injured from
Right.
the
He had the
SAO.
shoulder surgery, right, or something.
That
Didn't
was
he?
last year, but I
Yeah.
think he got injured a little bit in a duel in that test of the best with Hobson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the kid that beat him last year at state, they wrestled,
Okay.
and it was like it didn't. The match didn't go the whole match. I think he got hurt and he's out. But
Oh,
again, haven't heard anything. But I will say, Coach Tyler DeMoss, reached out and said that um, Kurt Smith is at Notre Dame, not doing any
any
wrestling.
sports.
And Demel is currently at Wisconsin gray shirting. So he's not going to school. He's taking a year. And this is something that I love. I mean, if people are doing this, I think this is the best way to give yourself the best opportunity to compete. Like if you're an in-between guy like Demel, who maybe isn't a, 5-star recruit that's getting, full ride
Right.
scholarships, it's like, okay, hey, take a year, train, put yourself in position to train with the best of the best and see if you can make those jumps quicker, because I think you can make jumps quicker at 18, 19 years old than you could, 14, 15, 16, just because you're more mature, you're physically fit, you're all the other things that go along with it. So he's up there. Hopefully in the next year, he'll be enrolled at Madison and on the team. So
Nice.
thanks for reaching out. Going down, that's about it. Oh, Vince Jasinski of Grant. This kid was tough. He actually came out and wrestled me one time this week. It was a Saturday practice, and I think sometimes Jimmy sets up like matches with kids. He gets them all pumped up, like, hey, come wrestle with, go a couple rounds with Dalton. So this kid came out, and I'm like, hey, what do you mean you're coming out to wrestle me? You want some, like, you calling me out?
Yeah.
But he's tough. He's nationally ranked now. Um, he's had. I think he got what place did he get last year? He got fourth in state last year. Um, but tough kid, Grant type of kid.
Yeah.
He'll just fight the whole match. He's not afraid to keep wrestling. So he's out there. And then obviously, like I said, there's a ton of kids from the state of Illinois that are
Yeah.
are,
Going
are
out
out
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think I mentioned him previously, but I did not see his name.
Who's
Cooper
that?
Corder. Cooper Corder from Sandwich.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he might be there. Yeah, there he is. I can't believe I went right over him. Yeah. So Cooper Corder's there from Sandwich. Um, State placer, a couple times state placer. He'll be out there. And then next week is preseason nationals. So like all the kids that maybe aren't going to Super 32 are setting up to go
Right.
to preseason nationals. There's three guys in the gym last night that said that they're all going out to preseason. Uh, Cam Young, um, Landon Van Acker, and Landon Neer from uh,
Okay.
Sterling.
Where is Cam Young going?
Going where?
Is he a freshman?
No, he's still an eighth grader this year.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what his plans are. All I know is he's big. He's getting bigger.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
gonna be. I think he's gonna be bigger than his brother. I think he already is bigger than his brother. But
oh wow.
um, yeah, for he's a wild one. I mean, if you watch him wrestle, he gets in the most funky positions. He is super flexible. I don't know how he's that flexible, but he can literally like you grab his leg, he'll put it over his head. Like it's either he's gonna, either he has to stop because he's gonna get some type of injury from it, or it's gonna be one of the greatest assets ever. I mean, he's one of the hardest kids to kind of take down because he can get in these like precarious positions. Um, so, yeah,
So
they're gonna be out there. I know some the Benish. I think some Benishes from Oregon are gonna be out at preseason nationals, um, and
yeah.
I'm sure a couple other guys. I mean, I would assume that those Hananiga guys that aren't going to Super 32 should be at preseason nationals.
Uh,
So,
hey, just looking. I was looking through the list, by states at the
yeah.
Super 32, and it does have Bruno listed.
Oh, he is there?
But yeah, he's in 165.
Okay.
So
Oh,
uh,
and then they separate the by names. But no, he's not even listed as an Illinois kid with a B.
I just looked at the.
You might be no, I think you're right, but I can't see
Yeah, I'm
I'm
looking. Oh shoot, I just lost it here.
yeah.
Yeah, if you go over to
Okay, right there. No, he's
right,
not. I mean, the list that I'm on right now, I just put in
you
Bruno. He's not on it.
I clicked teams here. I went down to Illinois.
No, I believe you, but my entry list is not
Oh,
working.
well, maybe he didn't. Yeah, he's on this list, but maybe he didn't really enter. Maybe I don't know.
What? Sorry, what weight did you say? I'll look up the.
165. I didn't see him in the bracket though, so
Oh, well, the
I don't
bracket
know.
would say.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, there's a ton of Illinois kids out there.
you said 65.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, Bruno is not in the bracket.
Right.
So
Yeah. So maybe he ended up. Maybe he had entered before, or he got hurt.
yeah,
I don't know.
here's the thing. I think everybody enters that can enter, and then whether or not they're going to go and make weight or whatever, that's all last minute stuff. Because you once you get in, you're in, and if you don't want to be sitting back and be like, oh, I want to go, but I can't go. I mean,
Oh,
it's a crazy tournament. There's a lot of positive, but then there's some chaos that I mean, you can buy you can buy like an entry on eBay for like $1,500 or something like that. Because they do like an auction. They say there's
right.
five left. Instead of just giving the next person in line the entry, they give an auction. And supposedly
What do
they
you
give it.
mean? Is
What's
it
that?
just 32-man brackets? Is that do
I
they
have no
limit?
idea. I do not know. I don't think it's a 32. It could be.
No, I thought I looked at 106 and it looked like there was a ton of kids at.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is 32. I think it's big, but
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, a
gotcha.
lot of people are out. Starts today. Wrestling starts today. We're gonna post. I'll probably post some updates. Maybe do a little podcast review later.
Yeah,
But yeah, outside of that, yeah, season is upon us.
3 weeks, I believe, right? November 10th, high school
20,
starts.
21 days
There we go.
tomorrow till practice starts. November 10th. Yep.
Yeah, pretty
So
good day.
what's that?
That's a pretty good day.
Yeah, it's a good day. I think everybody gets excited about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my birthday
Um,
as well, so
oh, it is your birthday, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I'll remember that. November 10th. I don't think I ever knew that your
You
birthday was on the first day of practice.
There's always practice always right around there. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll make sure and celebrate your birthday on season opener. But yeah, good stuff. Dan, you got anything else you thinking about with wrestling? Otherwise, I'll let you go. And
just looking forward to college getting going here.
yeah, yeah. Did you
So
see?
starting up.
Do you see they added $50,000 bonuses for takedowns in the national
No,
duels?
oh
Yes.
really? No, that's good though. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that's going to be great to watch. I hope. I hope
Yeah.
it turns out. But
Yeah.
then,
All based on Flo's production and how they kind of put the event on and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I mean, it's always been even when it wasn't broadcasted and it wasn't, in the
right.
past, it was a big fun event. So I think that the prize money is just going to be an added thing to talk about, and I think the programs are going to want to compete for it because, you know, um, I heard one of the coaches talking about how as we get into this NIL rev split, rev share era, some of these other programs are going to have budgetary income, and
Right.
if they're not getting 10,000 people to show up to their dual mates, they need to have it coming from other
They
places
got
as
to
well.
find they got to find some income.
Yeah, and if Paycom, the company that is putting it on, if they're able to create a profit mode for an event like that, outside of the NCAA tournament, I don't think any tournaments really make money. Um, I would love to have seen what the Midlands cost to run and how much they would make and stuff because the last couple of years has not been good for them,
No,
at least
no.
from the stands. I don't know. Supposedly the Midlands is going to go back to their facility this year. They're going to
Okay.
back to Welsh Ryan Arena, um, which which is cool, but I have no idea why there couldn't be a bigger event at the Hoffman Estates place because I mean you're connected to every piece of wrestling.
Right. I think
But
it comes down to the cost of running it there.
yeah, but
What?
I'm talking about how couldn't they get more people in the arena?
Oh, yeah,
That there's no reason, I
yeah.
guess obviously during the wrestling season, we often compete against each other. So people will go to a kids tournament instead of taking their kids to the
Right.
Midlands.
Yeah.
And I think that, if I was Northwestern, I would have um, some sort of collaborative marketing with, the youth organizations and trying to get like, hey, everybody that comes, you get to have a camp or you do a meet and greet, whatever. Like get
Something right to
get
get
as many people interested to come as possible because I mean, growing up, I mean that tournament was always an
wow. It's awesome.
inspiration to go to. So,
Yeah.
I watched Tommy Rollins and Steve Mocco fight each other and then run off, and I'm like a foot away, and I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So there were so many good bouts, and obviously Iowa not going to it anymore was a hit, right? They have their own
Yeah.
tournament going, so
Yeah. They
uh,
got their whatever soldier salute or yeah. I
yeah, but
know the teams got out and so
yeah, so hopefully the national duels kind of fills the void of in-season team competition and something else that kind of builds up to the national event because the nationals is the fun uh, for the year. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But
So,
All right,
all right, man.
we'll talk soon.